Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and it's New Comic Book Day. Yay! Or at least New Comic Book Day for me. Look at that. Holy crap. That's ridiculous amount of comics. At any rate, Saturday morning, I actually got these comics, I think, probably Thursday. I have been out of town all week with work, so I didn't get to start enjoying them. Not that I really would anyway, because my last video had 2 weeks worth of comics in it. Here's last week's comics. They're still sitting down here. I haven't taken upstairs to even start reading them yet. I'm just finishing the week before that. So now I am ridiculously behind. I am 30 some odd comics behind because this is 25 comics. But anyway, it's Saturday morning. I'm having a great time as much as I can. Wearing my Saga shirt from the original cover. That controversial breastfeeding cover. Oh my gosh. How can you wear a shirt like that? Anyway, 25 comics this week. Stupid. That's what happens, although if I get 2 weeks where I only get 10 comics, which the last 2 weeks basically were. Unfortunately, the stars are aligning, and I hope my mic's still going. When I bang things around, sometimes it doesn't go. So, but yeah, so then they all kind of line up to all be on the same week, which sucks. But I know, just glancing at the invoice here, some of these books, I believe this is the last issue of them. So hopefully that means that they won't all keep lining up the same way all the time. Let's flip this giant pack over here. Oh, we didn't even know that was coming out. Sweet. And we'll talk some comics. Issue 6 of Die. I'm really digging this book. I really enjoyed the first arc. Curious to see where this goes. Pretty much anymore. It's a Kieran Gilliam book. I'm going to pick it up, try it out at minimum. I like Stephanie Hans. I like her colors. I like her, digital brushwork, because I think it's digital. But I enjoy it quite a bit. I like some of the themes they play with, at least in the first arc. So we'll see what kind of adventure we get into with our comic about role-playing and more. Ooh, right on. The Dreaming, issue 12. Got a full year of this now. Simon Spurrier, the brilliant Bliss Everly artwork. We'll see what happens. That is Dream there walking away. Currently, the Realm of the Dreaming has a new, avatar, Lord, Master, whatever, that is an AI-generated thing, and it's a bit chaotic. So we'll see what what's going to come out of that. Black Hammer Justice League issue number 2. I did not care for issue number 1 basically at all. It was a giant retread of stuff that didn't really interest me, which was kind of what I thought was going to be the problem with this book anyway, because Black Hammer itself is kind of a play on a lot of the Golden Age DC heroes largely anyway. So having them kind of potentially meet themselves, I don't know, makes a lot of sense. I can't remember who this cover's by. There's a million cover options. I'm drawing a blank on who that little double T signature there thing is. I can't remember who that is, so I'm going to look. Is that Ian Bertram? Puzzled. I do not know, to be honest. Jill Thompson, Ian Bertram, Dave Stewart, Matteo Scalero. I do not know. I do not know which one this is. That's funny. if that's Ian Bertram, that's pretty simple. And normally I would pick up the Ian Bertram one. So, at any rate, wasting time, and it's a big video. Sorry about that, everybody. So I get lost in thought. Punk Mambo, issue number 5. I believe this is the final issue of Punk Mambo. This has been fun. This has been a fun book. It's kind of a, as I keep saying, she's kind of a John Constantine-esque type this is the last issue. She's a little closer to the revamped John Constantine in that, she throws magic around, and the old Hellblazer Constantine didn't just chuck magic all over the place. But I've enjoyed it. This issue should have the knockdown, drag out with this man who has the ability to basically suck up all magic, nullifying all magic around him. The worry is that he is going to suck up all the power from all the Loas, all the voodoo gods and whatnot, and then fill to capacity and then become godlike and explode. So they can make that stop. She Can Fly, issue 5 of 5. I'm hoping that this just means that this is the end of yet another arc of this adventure. I absolutely adore the characters in here. This woman with her level of OCD is just, not celebratory strange, but wonderfully strange anyway. Just kind of how she loses her shit is fun to read. I would hate to have to experience that, or I would feel for anyone who experiences the level of insanity that this girl experiences or would experience. But it's still just a really fun joy to read kind of a thing. And Martin Morazzo artwork, I don't know, ever since Ice Cream Man, I'm tickled by it. He gets the right emotions right, and does well to deliver a good story. So we'll see. Does she make it to? Does she actually make it to where the woman who flew, her basically kind of her origin, where she's from? How does that work? We'll see how that plays out. Issue 51 of Aquaman. You're the Villain, Dark Gifts stuff. Mecha Manta Rising. Oh, look at that. He's punching old Aquaman there. Kelly C. DeConnick, Rocha on art. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's the first arc was not real Aquaman-ish and not real superhero-ish. Now we're moving more into that. We get some great Mira work in here. The conflict between their two relationships. Mira is pregnant with Aquaman's child. Aquaman dumbly walked away from that, trying to kind of write things in his own head. The panic of his childhood and not wanting to repeat that. And of course, by walking away, he kind of creates that. So there's a conflict going on there. Obviously, we'll get some Black Manta in this, which that's cool. I dig Black Manta. So we'll see. We'll see what that all has for us. I'm enjoying it well enough as far as superhero comics go to continue the ride with that for a while. Issue number 77 of Batman, part of the Bane City. Meet the new dynamic duo. I've been seeing people non-spoilerly in some sense or another kind of go, oh shit, game changer, or it's ridiculous, or whatever. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see how I take that. I continue to enjoy Batman as a whole. I'm a bit confused. The last arc with the desert stuff, it seemed like Batman kicked ass on Thomas. Maybe that was all in his head, because the last issue of this that I read, Batman was pretty much severely injured, comatose, on Catwoman's couch. So, and I'm assuming this is the reality. The reality is that the government has basically closed off Gotham, and has allowed Bane to basically be his own sovereign state city kind of a thing. Agreement that no heroes come in. Last issue, Captain Atom tried coming in and Gotham Girl wrecked him, absolutely wrecked him. So yeah, and the deal is if any of the Bat family shows up in Gotham, they're going to slit Alfred's throat instantaneously. So there's this clearly, what do you do kind of a thing. So I like the Black Mask. I think that's why I ended up picking this up, but I really told myself I wasn't going to pick these up, but I'm curious. It's been a while since I read a Tom Taylor book, so I thought I would give this, Cully Hammer on art, so I thought I'd give this a try. It's just a one-shot, part of the whole year of villain stuff. I think there's a whole bunch of these coming out. Just kind of a spotlight on villains. In the past, I have purchased quite a few of them. This time I'm not going to. Just looking at the top up here. I think that's like Cobra, King Cobra there. I'm not 100% sure who the other people are. This might be the Joker. The glowing red eyes, though, I don't know what that one is. But anyway, Black Mask, we'll check it out. One shot. See if it's worth the $5 I spent on it. Not that I spent $5 on it, but anyway. Criminal, issue number, 7? Big bold right there, so 7. I think this is more Teague stuff, possibly. Just a great crime noir book. Has some complications to it, of course. Some violence in it, and some great Sean Phillip art in it. So, yeah, always good. Ed Brubaker. There's an Ed Brubaker TV show out. Too Young to Die, Too Old to Live, or something like that, I think is what it's called. I gotta check that out. It's on Amazon if you have Amazon Prime or whatever. It's on Amazon. I keep meaning to check that out. I actually, I have kind of finished up a couple other things I'm watching. Of course, it's hard to watch that and read comic books, kind of a deal. Anyway, so here is Daredevil number 10, and boy, do I have a story to tell you about Daredevil. So 2 weeks ago, I showed you Daredevil issue number 9. Okay, so here is number 10. And somewhere in this pile, I have issue number 8 in the pile I got this week. So I don't know what happened with the shipping, if it got missed, or Marvel shipped it out of order. I wasn't paying attention. So I started reading. I was reading yesterday, Daredevil number 9, and I'm like, I am confused. I do not know what's going on. And till about halfway through the comic, I'm just rolling with it because maybe I just don't remember or whatever. You know, in superhero comics, you can get into. But you kind of start talking about having this dinner date, and I'm like, I know I did not see that dinner date, and I know that can't be part of prior volumes. But yeah, so gotta get them all in order so I can read those. So a little strange, a little out of order. And I'm looking right now to see who did the cover. This tells me that the cover artist is Julian Tedesco, but Julian Tedesco is also the cover artist for that Black Hammer book, which I didn't think that was one of the options of artist in it, but it's got the same signature. Anyway, so comics out of order, yay, fun. We'll set that off to last. Weatherman, Volume 2, issue number 3. Absolutely love Weatherman. Love the colors. Love everything about it. Nathan Fox rocking it on the art. The person that everybody's searching for to hopefully give them a clue as to what's going on, how to fix the stuff that's going on Earth, to gather the information they need, to hopefully put the right mind back in the Weatherman, so then they can hold him responsible for his crimes on Earth and hopefully find out the Sword of God or the Arm of God, whatever the terrorist group is called, find out what their other plans are. So this pile of bones here, our intrepid adventurers have been told is him. So, oh no. We'll see how that goes. I absolutely love these two characters we're seeing a reflection of in the pool here. This kind of polar bear, multi-eyed critter, has a lot of character personality, takes care of this girl here who, I don't know, has the equivalent of like polio or something. Her legs don't work well, so she has crutches and whatnot and rides the polar bear. Just loads of fun. Great stuff. Love me some Weatherman. Stronghold issue number 5. As we deal with this character who could be God or godlike entity that could change reality to whatever they want to, kind of a thing. How does that all play out? With two groups vying to try and take control and drive his narrative to keep the status quo the way they want, sort of a thing. I don't know why it feels like that. I want to say, is this the last issue of this? But I don't know that it is. I don't think anything's going to tell me whether it is or not. But yeah, Stronghold, written by Phil Hester, art by Ryan Kelly. Big time Ryan Kelly fan. Just always shocked that he's not doing more work. And then he's on Twitter occasionally talking about the fact that he's always struggling to find work. Just blows my mind because, well, this says end. So it might be the end. I don't know if there is any more after this. But Ryan Kelly just does a great job of panel layouts, of facial expressions, of backgrounds. He puts it all in the book. So I super appreciate his art for all of that stuff. So I'm always excited when he's on something. But I think this is the end. So this is another book. And there's like 4 or 5 books in this list that I won't be getting anymore because they're done. So anyway, Stronghold. A new book, because anytime I have books ending, I got to pick up new books, right? This is Strayed. I absolutely love this cover. This is a Juan Doe cover. Juan Doe does the art inside also. I think there's a Christian Ward variant cover. May have been some other ones, but I really like this one. And I kind of tend to stick with the regular cover if the regular cover artist is on it. Unless I do really truly know it's something that's limited. And then maybe I'll get the funky stuff. Which I do have some variants in this pile, I think. What is Strayed about? It's from Dark Horse Comics. I have no idea. It's about cats traveling through space. Or alien cats traveling through space. I mean, look at that. If you're into cats, I'm into cats. I like cats. So I'm excited about this. Oh, let's see here. Strayed. In the far future, military scientist Kira Rodriguez creates a device that translates brainwaves into discernible language. She uses it to communicate with her cat, Lou, and discovers the feline has the ability to astrally travel to faraway places. The military has much to gain from this ability. Dun, dun, dun. So, this is the first stuff I've seen of Juan Doe outside of Aftershocks, because Aftershocks is what I'm familiar with him having work in, and he does all the art. Lettering is by someone else. Let's see who the lettering by. Letter is by Matt Crozer. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to checking out an adventure of a scientist girl and her cat. So all about that. We'll see. Well, let me see if the front here, if it tells me that it's a number 1 of something. It doesn't say. Just says number 1. I would suspect, though, it's probably like 5 issues or whatever would be my guess, right offhand. Listen to the Sounds of the Astral Realms. They actually have a Bandcamp page. There's somebody's art. That is Morgan Beam doing some art there. It has a kind of a Jeff Lemire feel to it. And let's see. And there's covers for the next issue there. So it's a Juan Doe cover and then a Jim Mufford variant cover. So, anyway, look forward to that. I think that's going to be some fun. Issue 3 of Last Stop on the Red Line. Kind of a strange book with some great characters in it that are just characters. They're fun to read. And we got this kind of murder mystery going on the Red Line in Boston. There's like this street guy, this hobo guy who has some connection to this tentacled monster that comes out on the red line, snatches and tears people up occasionally. He's also like in a rehab group, a bunch of guys that are like your standard movie monsters, but and you're not 100% sure whether or not they really are a vampire or werewolf, Frankenstein, that sort of thing, or if they just think they are. But it has some fun stuff going on in it, so looking forward to reading it and just seeing what, where it takes me, what exactly all is going on there. Killer Groove, issue number 4. This has been all right. Don't know that it's been anything exceptional. But I'm curious about the whole Cuba part. We're hoping we're going to get into that aspect of the story beyond our the Killer Groove part. Our killer who seems to be he is a natural at murdering people for hire, and then that translates into good music for him. So, but there's this whole other story aspect with our ex-police detective, who's now a private eye. Her father has shown up, and people are kind of chasing him. And I don't know if that has to do with the stuff that went on, in Cuba in the 60s with the Bay of Pigs and that sort of stuff. It feels like maybe it does. It has some CIA potentially kind of deal, whatnot, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm reading to find out. Eve Stranger, issue number 3. I do enjoy the Bond artwork. I questioned the story of the last issue. It was largely a repeat of the first issue because our main character wakes up every morning and does not remember who she is. So she has to kind of go through this routine of being told who she is, what her conflicts are, and that sort of stuff. And then we get just very, very, very small pieces added on top of that. At least that's what the second issue was. And so I'm like, okay, I don't want to just keep reading the same comic. That gimmick's going to get really old really fast. So I'm hoping there's more. I'm hoping there's more to the whole thing going forward. This is the only Black Crown thing that's out right now. And I don't think I've ordered any other Black Crown things because there just hasn't been anything to order. I know they're doing a Kickstarter right now called Hey Amateur, which is going to be a really big book. And it's single page, 1 page comic that tells you how to do something like how to do a flip kick on a skateboard, for instance, or how to look like a goth, or how to put on goth makeup, or how to find where galaxies are using the celestial stars that are up there, just different stuff like that. Of course, it's a Kickstarter, and I've been kind of walking away from Kickstarters. I'm probably going to donate to that Kickstarter. It's just got a hardback version of it. I was kind of hoping that it would do really well, and then they would print softbacks, and I would get a softback version of it when it came out in trade, because I don't know that I need a hardback version. But as of right now, it ends in a week, and they are tens of thousands of dollars short from what they want to be to make the book. So, I don't know. We'll see. It has some interesting offers for perks if you want to pay more. Anyway, Kickstarter, Hey Amateur, if you want to check that out. Here we have Excellence, issue number 4. Love that cover, because this has been kind of a motif. This line's been a motif, and using it like bars to a cell works really well, because some of our characters have been thrown in jail. I'm just kind of curious to see where this is going and what this is telling us. There have been things that have gone on in it that I question why, and I want them explained to me. Why the magicians are secret, why the magicians have been around for a very long time, and it feels like they've allowed some of the stuff to happen to African Americans, and I'm not sure why that would be. If they had these powerful magic users, why wouldn't they have changed their outcomes further? It's all stuff that I want to know. I'm intrigued with the story that's going to tell me about African Americans, people of color, in America having significant power. And if you're going to tell me something you're telling me a story that's been that way for a long time in history, well, that would lead me to believe, unless there's some explanation why. I want to know why. Why has the world largely continued to function the way it is if you've had the power to potentially ensure that that's not how it works out? So I'm just, I want to know. So I spend a lot of time questioning that. And I want some sort of answer that makes me enjoy the story more than I like the story, but that's just this huge giant question that's kind of hanging there making me wonder. So next up is issue 5 of Fair Lady. I love this book. Each issue has its own story. All the stories are kind of interconnected, slowly developing this world and the people in it, and I enjoy everything about it. And this is the last issue. It got canceled. Issue number 1 sold well. Then the sales kind of fell off. I don't know if this is because people don't talk about it enough. Not enough the right people are buying it. They aren't even able to wait for that first trade because the sales were rough enough. And Image is only willing to take so much of a risk on it, so that puts the onus on the creators. Obviously, the person doing the artwork, she has to get paid. Because that's what her whole job is. Because like writing, you can do a day job and then in your after hours could probably write and keep up with a monthly comic. Certainly art-wise, unless you're Jack Kirby, you wouldn't be able to do a regular job and then do art and keep up with a monthly book. Really a bummer. I do look forward to reading this. I'm hoping at some point the trade will sell gangbusters and they'll be able to come back. In some way or another. They have a lot more story to tell. At some point, I'll be on a podcast with Eric for Longbox Review, hopefully, and we'll be talking about these books. But yeah, bummer it's gone. I've super enjoyed it. Bronze Age Boogie, issue number 5 from Ahoy Comics. Dig that cover. It's been a fun read. I'm digging it for the Alberto Ponticelli artwork, largely. That is the big thing for me. It's kind of a spread across the 70s and smidgen of the future and back in like some magical medieval time. The Martians are taking over all those places, and we've got some time hopping chimpanzees. Well, some of these other people have now time hopped too, and they are battling for Earth from the Martians, and potentially some other things along the way. It's just been a lot of fun. I see there's this extras down here. It says Crystal, Lou Ridge, and Ket W. and Keith. I don't know. There's always some backup stuff in here. There was a backup story about a bear that was going to be sent up into space. They send the bear up into space. Some accident happens. He gets doused with cosmic rays. He crashes back down. The bear's name is Elvis. And he's smarter than the average bear. He can talk now, and there's some conflicts and some space stuff, and it was fun. It was a fun read, but I know it ended last issue, so I don't know what's in the back of it now, and I don't know how long the whole Bronze Age Boogie story will last, but I'm gonna read it and enjoy it while I can. Hellboy, the BPRD, Saturn Returns. This is issue 1 of 3. Christopher Mitten doing the artwork on it, so I'm excited about it for that. I have just not been digging the whole Hellboy universe as much since BPRD actually shuttered. So we know what happens to the Earth and everyone at some point. But the Christopher Mitten artwork will be excellent. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm shocked, though. This is probably the first Hellboy book I have ever seen that has not been colored by Dave Stewart. I think Brennan Wagner is doing the coloring on it, which to me is just, it's shocking. It's always been Dave Stewart. Oh, and we can tell. There is not the depth of color, and it's drowning Mitten's line work, it looks to me like. So, this may be coming to an end of an era for me and the Hellboy universe. comic books. We'll see how this story goes, if I'm like blown away by this or not, but I don't know. I'm not, I just haven't been too excited. It's been disappointing, but one of the problems is lots of times if I know the ending to something, you have to do something to make me interested. One of the few books that gets away with me knowing how it ultimately all ends, or largely ends, in the grand scheme of things, and most of the characters I know what the resolution for all of them is Stray Bullets. For whatever reason, I can read the insanity that's going on in that book that gets them to where they're at. Anyway, I gotta quit talking so much. This video is getting stupid long. Super excited. Lucifer, issue number 11. Excellent book. Dig it, dig it, dig it. Dan Waters is a favorite writer of mine now. We get some great Sebastian Fumarawa art in this. I don't know who Lemex is, but that's somebody else doing art, I would guess. Dave McCraig on colors. Just super excited about this. The island with all the witches on it has been exposed to the powers of God. We'll see how that all plays out and what's Lucifer's game as he dives deep into the Hindi underworld to rescue some stuff and get some resolution to some things because he needs something in particular out of there. So looking forward to all of that. Very much so. So this is the Powers of X, issue number 3 of 6. I just finished reading House of X, issue number 2 was the next in this hopping back and forth series. Well, issue number 1 I was very hard on. I'm not drinking all the Kool-Aid. Still not 100% drinking all the Kool-Aid because this is another book where it tells me what the future is. And when you tell me what the future is, then it makes it hard for me to read what's going on now with any level of concern. Because to some degree, it seems like the future is set in stone. But last issue introduced me to a character, Mora, who her mutant power is reincarnation. She keeps living the same life over and over again, not moving into the future, but when she dies, she gets reborn back whenever in the 40s and moves her way up again. And when she dies, she goes back to that same spot with all of her memories intact and whatnot. That's interesting because then she can affect the future. It kind of explains the X-Men, all the different storylines and the apocalypse stuff and stuff I've never read. Kind of explains how that can all work within the same comic world because she keeps altering it. Every time she comes back, it's like, oh, that didn't work. I'm going to do this instead. That didn't work. I'm going to do this instead. So I find that all really fascinating. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. Going forward with this, I still have no intention of picking up any of their X books at this point. But I did enjoy that issue, so I'll be curious to see how this plays out and whatnot. Another book I'm super excited about reading, Jimmy Olsen's Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Issue number 1, I loved quite a bit. Lots of fun on a number of levels. Looking forward to seeing this. Jimmy Olsen in Gotham. We'll see what potential hilarity ensues and what goes on. A crisis of infinite jerks. Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber are just, and Nathan Fairbrain on colors. Just a great partnership of witty wink wink and dumb jokes that just really work well and is just a lot of fun romp. I think is going to be through the DC universe with this. So very much excited about that. So here we got Daredevil. Unfortunately, somehow I ended up with the variant cover. So it's the carbonized variant cover. That sucks. But I needed one, so I'm not sure exactly how I came. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look to see if I somehow accidentally ordered the variant version, which is weird because normally I wouldn't do that. Other than this is a Sekowitz. I believe that's a Sekowitz variant cover, which is cool in that sense. So I'll now read number 8 so I can finish reading number 9 and then read number 10 that happens to also be in this pile. And the last issue, this time around for those people who are long enough, they're going to get the money shot. So this is Faithless number 5. Heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. The Talking Heads. So this is another one of the erotic covers. That's why it's in a bag. Oops, just grabbed a bag. And it's a variant cover by Becky Cloonan. We'll see how scandalous it is. As to whether or not I show it. None of them have been as, like, in your face as the first issue. But we'll see here. Maybe we'll see here. Okay. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So there's this girl, and yeah, she's naked, and she's riding somebody's face and getting some oral pleasure, and that red you see there is the other person's hair climbing up her, which that's interesting. That's definitely yeah, and it leaves nothing to the imagination, which is awesome. If you're gonna get an erotic cover, it might as well be erotic. Yeah, I continue to really enjoy this. I think next issue is the last issue. We'll see if that leaves room for there to be more. I still just, like I said, I continue to be a huge fan of Maria Lovett art. She does all the art, you know, the colors and everything. It has a fashion art magazine kind of a look to it, as far as, like, you know, someone was doing sketches of dresses and design and that sort of thing. So that is a lot of what it looks like. So I just really dig the stuff that you know, that she has to say. Woo, getting it on there. So looking forward to reading that and the rest of my comics. Hopefully I'll get to them soon. Maybe later on today, depending on how things are going and whatnot, I may cut another video. There's some comics that come out that I've really liked, and I feel the need to talk about them, to defend them, to get more people on board reading them, so I get to have more of them, because they're different than most of the other stuff that's coming out, and that's what I'm looking for. I like the standard stuff too. It's fun, but it's also cool to have some new stuff. Anyway, this video's gone on for more than half an hour. Most people don't watch it this long. Thank you if you have, and I will catch you at a later date.